I'm going to make some emphasis on Ebola response in Uganda and the DRC, and then some unique challenges. My names are, as already mentioned, Joe Okech-Ojony, MD, MPH, and epidemiologist, and currently I'm chair of an organization which we call International Disaster Response Network, IDRN, in Kampala, and formerly with the WHO, Afro, and worked in West Africa. The current outbreak, as you can see, and which has already been talked about, the two outbreaks were declared incidentally on the same day, on May 15th, 2026. And then 2 days later, it was declared a public health emergency of international concern. That was on the 17th, 2026. In the DRC, it is the 17th outbreak, whereas in Uganda, it is the 8th. And already a cross-border problem. Next, please.
Just to say, we will have time for questions later, so we'll be taking questions now.
Yeah, and then why this outbreak is different? It is inside an active conflict zone. It was previously 3 provinces, but now it is in almost 6 provinces in Congo, and more than over 30, almost 40 health zones affected. 2, it has no ceasefire, although ceasefire was requested, but it has never been granted. And the population is displaced, there is hunger, and there is also food shortage. The spread into Uganda involved 20 cases, 2 deaths. This was as of June 21st, 2026. And right now, since Uganda has only 2 cases of patients under treatment and no new infections, we are now going towards even lifting up the outbreak in Uganda. Another problem is funding gap. About 518 million US dollars were budgeted for, and up to now only 2 million is available. And this is from information from CDC Africa. Now, Uganda and the Congo, on the eastern side of the Congo, the distance is about 450 kilometers. The border is porous. Uganda wanted to establish 4 treatment Ebola treatment centers. For the time being, it has established 1, and that is just 1 too few for a distance of 450 kilometers. The health workers in this outbreak has been the most hit. In fact, with the information that we have, they say in Congo there has been 75 deaths of health workers, and that is about 57%. In Uganda, of the 20 cases, 15 were 15 were from Congo, and 5 the Ugandan contacts. And those Ugandan contacts, you can imagine, were also health workers. Next, please. What we know that works? Of course, international health regulations of 200 which made rapid detection and response possible. We have the mass media support, alerts and surveillance. As the colleague has just talked about, there is community-based surveillance and the door-to-door finding of cases. With this, if it's done early, it is very important. And then the community involvement worked in West Africa and also in the DRC in the former Butembo, Beni, Ituri outbreak. However, with this one, the mistrust has caused a problem, which means that the community involvement has been a bit affected. There has been rapid detection, contact tracing, treatment are key. Those are the things that work. Next, please. Lessons from past outbreaks. Of course, this being the 17th outbreak in DRC since 1976, Uganda is the 8th since 2000. The asymptomatic and atypical infections seen in some contacts. That is, as far according to Kware and others on 2018. Screening tests had low predicative value. Local validations very essential. The virus persists in semen and it has been detected up to 61 days after onset. And then there was a problem which we need to learn and never forget, the reuse of needles which spread infections. That was in Sudan, Kikwit, and DRC in 1976. Next, please. This one is what we already know so well, the transmission cycle of the virus. This is just as a reminder. Normal bush life of animals, single pass from animal to human because of the habit of eating bush meat. Next. Amplification from human to human.
Go ahead with the slide.
That one is the transmission cycle of the filoviruses. Next, please. That one everybody knows now. Next, please. The transmission from body fluids and more. Not contagious until symptoms appear. Infectiousness rises as the patient worsens. Blood, vomit, excreta, sweat, etc. Dead bodies are highly infectious. Traditional burials spread infection. And this persists in the semens. It has been said that it can persist up to 18 months and also in breast milk. Therefore, take care. We inform the patients, everybody to take care with contaminated items, beddings, used needles, etc. Next, please. Very important, personal protective equipment, full body protection. That is how we think that, and we know it works. We need more and more protective equipment, as the colleagues have already talked about. Next, the case finding and contact tracing, key components of Ebola outbreak surveillance. Of course, there is alert, hotlines, events, dates, rumors, There is case investigation, case definition, lab confirmation, documentation review. C, contact tracing and follow-up, very important. And D, contact monitoring for 21 days. Way forward. Next, please. Cross-border cooperation between local leaders, technical, administrative, intelligence, security, very important. Strengthen local task force meetings in affected areas. Report and investigate every alert, even rumors. And then the daily situation reports to the National Task Force. And of course, we also think that we need to go on experienced colleagues who have worked in many outbreaks before. And why not? We have colleagues, a pool of colleagues in the IDRN Uganda who worked in West African outbreak and who, up to now, it is only about 2 persons who have been co-opted in the Ebola treatment center, but the rest of the team are still available. Ebola is everyone's business. A multi-sectoral response is very important. Early detection through stronger surveillance. Strengthen points of entry. This is very important. Points of entry need to be strengthened. Community-based surveillance. Materials should be in local languages. And then IPC, that is the infection prevention and control, case management, and safe and dignified burials. Now, we have just noted that in Congo now, the body bags have been made possible to have a window where the persons can view their loved ones and to make sure that it is the person who has died, whom they know, who is in the body bag. Of course, behavior change and communications must be emphasized. Thank you to Professor Yania, Unipolitics and colleagues in the DRC and Uganda for this, to enable me present this work to Unipolitics and colleagues. Thank you very much.